Hey guys, on this episode of Ecomm and Coffee, we're going to be talking about what a marketing funnel looks like for e-commerce specifically. Hey guys, welcome back to Ecomm and Coffee, and we're on episode 2 of the Ecomm and Coffee podcast here, and we're going to be talking all about marketing funnels for e-commerce specifically. So what we're going to do is we're going to break down the 3 stages. So typically every marketing, online marketing funnel, you're going to have your top of funnel, middle funnel, bottom of funnel. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to let Terrell give a quick overview here, and then I'll jump into some top of funnel stuff. He's going to talk middle of funnel and bottom of funnel. So go ahead and take it away, Terrell. But before we dive into that, what kind of coffee are you drinking, Terrell?
We just happen to be having this podcast in the evening here on a Sunday, so I'm actually sipping on some red wine.
Oh my God, that's
I've failed our coffee talk promise already on episode 2.
We have to move this to the day because it's just
a morning time would help. A morning time would work because I drink plenty of coffee. It's just there's a certain point where I can't drink anymore.
Right.
Otherwise, I won't sleep.
Yeah.
So
I got some coffee lined up in the back here, but for when we do actually start drinking coffee,
it's going to happen. We will have coffee. There will be coffee on this podcast that's about e-comm and coffee.
Right.
Just to talk a little bit about what the funnel is and what that means for any company out there really. Because like we talked about in the the beginning of the very first episode we did, is that a lot of the strategies that we're talking about are great and work for any type of company. It doesn't have to be e-commerce. It's just you can take these strategies and use them for your company in the way that works for you and that makes sense. But these work great. They work best for e-commerce funnels. E-commerce companies. So a funnel, they call it that because it's really easy to visualize. Because what you're doing is you're putting people into a funnel, and you're wanting them to make it all the way down to the bottom. So the bottom of this funnel is where the sale happens. So just picture the bottom being the place you want everybody to get to, and the top being the place that you're dumping everybody in. And so what we're talking about is 3 different layers, where the top of the funnel is where you're putting people in. So those are all new people that have never heard about your product, have never heard about your website, have never heard about what you're trying to sell to them. Once they're in there, then it's all about nurturing them. You got them to do something. So you got them to watch 3 seconds, 10 seconds of a video. You got them to visit your website. You got them to engage with a piece of content on Facebook, on Instagram. So then you've now captured them in your funnel, but maybe they didn't purchase yet. Maybe they just, did any one of those other actions. Well, now you're wanting to, at the mid-level, explain some type of content to them, do something there, and then at the bottom of the funnel is where the sale happens. So that's where you're going to be hitting them with some different retargeting stuff. So that's really what the overall of the funnel is. The goal of it, is to start people up there and get them all the way down to the bottom and make that sale for your company, whether it's selling a product, selling a service, maybe you're just generating leads, whatever it is, get them down to that action that you want them to take.
Perfect. Yeah. So talking about top of funnel. So, in later episodes, we're going to go into specific content and, strategies that you can use. Well, not strategies, but pieces of content that you can use at top of funnel to try and gather different, whatever objective you're going after. But what I want to talk about at top of funnel right now is just different objectives. So one of the mistakes that we see people make is, when you're first starting out, is you spin up an ad and you think, well, I want people to purchase my product. So you spin up an ad and you make that ad a purchase conversion on Facebook. And just to take one quick step backwards, anytime you spin up an ad, there's always an objective that Facebook is going to ask you to denote. And that objective tells the algorithm how it's going to operate and interact with the billions of users on Facebook. So when you tell your Facebook campaign that you want purchases, it's going to go out and look for people that are going to purchase. Well, the problem is when we're at top of funnel, no one's really going to purchase because remember, like Terrell talked about, you're talking about dumping people in. So building awareness at the very top of funnel. You're talking about people that are cold to your brand. They don't know who you are. They don't know what your product is. And you want to try and engage those people somehow with your first touch. And I'm going to take a quick aside here and tell a brief story that hopefully will bring this all together and make sense as far as what the funnel actually looks like, offline and online. I purchased this watch recently. This is a Nixon watch. I'm a big fan of the Nixon brand. And there's a story behind why I purchased this watch. About 4 or 5 years ago, I was walking through a mall and I saw a store that was a Nixon store. It had a really nice looking cabinet case, and I went in, I looked at these watches, and I was like, wow, what a great display here, no one was selling me anything. I wasn't being told, it wasn't someone on the side with flyers going, hey, 15% off watch, 50% off watch, come purchase a watch. They just had a beautiful looking display. I went in and looked at it, and I loved the way that they looked. They resonated with me. After that, I never purchased. I knew the brand name, but I never purchased a watch. 4 years later, they came out with this specific line, and I started getting served ads online for them. I looked at these ads. The first ad I looked at specifically was just an action video of someone wearing it and its different purposes. It's water resistant and all these different things. Watched it, never thought twice about it. I then...
Now, did you ever like their page or do any type of action that might have gotten you into that funnel?
I didn't, but I think the reason why I was targeted specifically, just not to get too far down a rabbit hole, is because this kind of has an outdoorsy type feel to it, and I've liked very similar things for that. So I think it was definitely a cold campaign, but I was targeted correctly. But I interacted with that ad, and that ended up dumping me down into the retargeting, which we'll talk about in just a second here. But to jump back to the story, a second time or the third time now I've seen them online, I actually go to the page, I feed the product. Didn't purchase. So I then, going about my day the next couple days, I start getting served more ads because I looked at the product. This time they're going direct to sale. They're saying, hey, come back and, check out with this product. You forgot to check out, come back and make sure that you pick up this incredible watch. Still didn't purchase. 3 days later, I'm sitting and working, thinking about this watch. I go to the website, I make the purchase. Direct to website. Went to Google search, Nixon watches, went and I actually made the purchase. So throughout that journey, even from an offline perspective, right, I walked through the mall and saw this cabinet case. That is the entire customer journey, and that's exactly what the funnel is. It's basically a visual way, like Terrell talked about, of seeing the customer journey. It just works a lot better when you think about it online. So let's break down the steps of what that funnel looked like. I'll start with top of funnel. My real top of funnel first touch was walking through the mall and seeing that display. And the great thing is with content online, right, using Facebook, we can put a permanent display that constantly spends and goes after different audience segments for us to constantly be that thing that people are seeing and putting brand recognition into people's minds, or that, first top of funnel touch. So that's really, the customer journey and what top of funnel is. Top of funnel is someone metaphorically walking down, just going about their life and seeing something of yours and then planting it, in their minds so that later when they see other pieces of content, they start to become familiar with your brand. So that's really what top of funnel is. And the objectives that we're going to use for top of funnel are not going to be purchase. So hopefully you can see why, if top of funnel is more like you walking by, a great looking display and seeing a display and continuing on with your life, the objective can't be for purchase on that content in Facebook. If your objective is for purchase, then you have two goals that are kind of misaligned. At top of funnel, I want to be generating content that's entertaining or educating or edutaining people, telling a story, showing my product in a cool way that's, micro viral or something like that. I don't want to be encouraging people to buy from an algorithm perspective. So to take that a little bit more granularly, when you're setting up your first campaigns, let's say you're brand new and you're like, all right, Matt and Terrell, you guys are talking about top of funnel. So I'm going to go in, I'm going to set up an ad at top of funnel. The objectives that you want to use are typically going to be things like video views and view content, and occasionally we'll test out some add to cart objectives. And from there, you're starting to build the machine. So that's really top of funnel. Again, it's you don't care about the purchase at this point. The only thing you care about is getting someone to metaphorically walk by your display, or watch a video with a view content objective or a video views objective specifically. And that is what top of funnel is all about when you're building out this top of funnel, middle funnel, bottom of funnel machine.
Absolutely. And, one other question for you there. So how long was the, just because I'm curious, how long was the time frame between when you finally went online and you were targeted with that new outdoorsy type of watch from them?
It was years.
Till
It
purchase.
was years. Oh, to purchase.
Sorry.
Got it. Yeah. A week,
so
2
when
weeks.
you were first,
2 weeks tops.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, so it's interesting, like for people to understand, how long sometimes a purchase takes to happen within the e-com funnel. Like you do have to nurture, leads. You have to nurture those people who've come in to really start into the funnel. If he wasn't retargeted a few times in those 2 week period, that purchase never would have happened.
Bear in mind too,
it may have happened.
My example is actually took me 4 to 5 years to purchase a product from Nixon.
Right.
That me walking by that cabinet, that great looking display, was the same thing as Nike taking some slow motion shot of a kid running down a street with a basketball in his hand in his old neighborhood in the inner city, and then fading into someone running on a basketball court, right? Like, it has nothing to do with shoes necessarily. It's that like cool looking piece of content that is doing nothing but making me aware of that brand, being that first touch. So I would say, to your point, I believe that first top of funnel piece, which again we've moved online, right? We can create that physical display. We can make that in video form at top of funnel. It really took me like 4 or 5 years to actually purchase this specific product from that company.
That's great. Yeah. So I mean, and folks, like in the we are going to in the next few episodes, we're going to go into a lot more granular detail and really spend a full episode on each part of this funnel, so that you can really understand some of the metrics that you want to be looking for. Because while you don't want to be looking for that purchase and judging everything on top of funnel off of that purchase, there are certain metrics that you want to look at to measure your campaign success off of, and there's really good key indicators on whether that campaign's working and if it's not working, even at the top of funnel. So talking about now we've gotten somebody interested. They understand that there's a product. They've seen a video, they've seen something talking about it, and they want to know a little bit more. So what we're going to do then at the middle funnel is we're going to take those video views, maybe 3-second, 10-second video views, depending on the content. If it's a longer piece of content, usually want to do a 10-second view so you get somebody who's really engaged with that content. If you're doing something that's quick hitting, that is just grab your attention, then we would do the 3-second video view audience. And we take that video view audience, we create that within Facebook, and then we use that to target specific content. And the content at the mid level is usually an educational piece. It's now you're going to talk to them about the problem they have, and what they're missing out on by not having this product. What's the solution that you're here to fix for them? Starting at what's their problem, here's the solution. And you can give that, either through a video piece, you can give that through imagery, just anything that's going to remind them of the product that they saw in that video and bring them back to the site. A lot of times we'll use images that are specifically drawn from that portion of time that they watched in the video, so that it's an automatic recall of, oh yeah, that's right, I just saw that. Okay, like now I'm going to click through. So the goal in that middle of funnel is to get them to click to the website. You have to get them to the site to look at something. We want to get them on there, start looking at a product. That's the goal with the middle of funnel. We've got to get them to look at the product. A lot of times at middle of funnel, we're going add to cart. We want people to start shopping, start looking around, take a look, do some window shopping. A lot of times when you're window shopping, out in the real world, you're looking at price tags. So you're not necessarily, grabbing it and putting it in a bag, because that would be the, adding to cart. But that's really what you're doing when you're adding to cart. People add to cart, they just want to see what their total is going to be when they finish. Okay, well, what's shipping going to add? What's this going to do? And then you maybe you close it out, or you just leave that tab open and you don't come back to it for a few days. Either way, that's the goal there, is to get them to do that. Now, what happens at the bottom of funnel is that's where everything bottom of funnel is purchase. That's our goal for everything. Any type of ad we run at bottom of funnel is to get people to buy the product. So the main ads at bottom of funnel is going to be your dynamic product ads. So these are the ads that you create for Ecomm that show the products back to the customer that they were looking at. So if they came on the site and they viewed content, so they viewed a product, we're going to show them that product, and we're going to do that in an ad. Usually in a carousel ad is the one that's performing best at this very moment. That could change really quickly. They're doing all types of new stuff at bottom of funnel. They've got new dynamic product ad videos that automatically are created based on the products that you looked at. There's a lot of neat stuff that they're doing, but right now the one that's performing the best across the board is the carousel. And so your whole goal is to get people into that group. So that dynamic product ad is showing to people, and what it does is it says, in generic terms, hey, did you forget something? Did life get in the way? Did you forget to, finish that purchase? Why don't you come back? We'll give you free shipping. Go ahead and buy that. Anything like that is recalling the product to them to, hey, come on back, and maybe a little bit of an incentive. And we've got a lot of different marketing ways that we go about getting people to finish that purchase at the bottom of funnel. But again, everything from the top to the middle is meant to get them to the bottom. So anything up there that gets them to look at a product is going to get them into that bottom of the funnel and start remarketing to there, where that's where you're going to really get your big return on ad spend and when you're going to get the big sales.
Perfect. Yeah, and that's basically it in a nutshell, right? And the purpose of this episode is really to kind of give the 5,000-foot view and talk a little bit about what each segment of that funnel looks like as far as objectives go. So my one takeaway that I want people, if you're listening to this, I want your biggest takeaway here to be, because we see this a lot, is this: stop running singular campaigns for purchase conversion to cold interests that you think is going to convert, right? Like we just tried to really lay out, this is a machine. And hopefully you can see now that what we're doing is we're just taking the customer journey and setting it up as a machine of parts that are all cogs in this wheel, right? That are all turning for ultimate return on investment, return on ad spend, and they all are working together. When you take one away, it will not work anymore, right? I mean, the one thing that we have seen, right? If you have an established brand, you already, you're doing $1 million, $2 million, baseline-ish revenue a year, you could technically, and we see this a lot, people spin up dynamic product ads or the bottom of funnel, of what they're doing, and they just continue to try and convert, everyone that that knows their brand and that is added to cart or that has already interacted with viewing content and things like that. But the problem with that is all you're doing is churning through your audience that's ready to buy. You're not paying any attention to massaging and filling people up the top, because if you don't fill up the top, the bottom's always going to run out at some point. So this all has to work as one cohesive machine. And hopefully from this, if you're taking notes or if you're just really good at remembering this stuff, just remembering that your top of funnel ads, right? If you're going to go set up ads, if you're fired up to go set up ads right now, set up 3 campaigns. Your first campaign, your objective is going to be either video views or view content. Your second campaign is going to be your middle of funnel, which is going to be typically your add to cart objectives. Then finally, your bottom of funnel is going to be your dynamic product ads, where you're targeting people that did not check out or that viewed content and did not actually purchase that product. That's the biggest takeaway here. Switch your mentality from what you're doing in your e-commerce company if you're not running this type of a funnel already, and just set those 3 campaigns up.
Yeah, and the last thing that I would say is, you know what, if you're listening to this and you're you say, you know what, I've ran Facebook ads before and they didn't do anything for me, and I have an e-comm company, I'm not making enough money to waste it on ads. I would tell you to do one thing, is just go and, it's a little bit of a process, and we're going to talk through that process in a few episodes, but set up a product feed, get it into Facebook, and set up one dynamic product ad, and set it to spend $3 a day. Just $3 a day, set it for a 7-day dynamic product ad, and that's it. Just do that one thing, and it'll prove to you that Facebook ads work. Because if that's all you do, even if you have a little bit of traffic, you're gonna generate sales, and you're gonna recover abandoned carts at a rate that you've never seen before. You think abandoned cart emails work? Wait until you try dynamic product ads. This is what's gonna to really turn you around on Facebook ads, especially for e-commerce.
Just don't try and scale it. Don't try and only scale the bottom of funnel.
That's the thing, is there's no scaling it. You can't. All you'll be able to do is just leave it at that $3 a day and 7-day window, and that's it. And it'll just keep repopulating, and you're going to see these nice little returns, but it's never going to get bigger than that unless you start building out the top of funnel and the middle of funnel. Then all of a sudden, you'll be able to see those same percentage of returns by spending, $15 and $20 a day, and those are going to be multiplied the same as the $3 a day was. But you have to spend at that top of funnel to get there.
Well, hey guys, I hope you enjoyed this episode of Ecomm and Coffee. This has been our 2nd episode. Thank you guys so much for sticking around all the way through to the end here. Hope that we gave you some action items, some value here that you can, take away and hopefully implement if you're not already implementing this strategy in your business. And we will see you on the next episode.
Thanks, everybody.
Cool.